Welcome. Welcome to this very strange named webinar. We are talking about plastic pandemic when we know that we are already in the middle of a very grave situation related to COVID pandemic. And in fact, at one place, let me introduce myself. I'm Rajendra Shende, and I'm chairman of TERRE Policy Center and former director of United Nations Environment Program. At one point of time, we said that whether it is appropriate to shake the people by saying a plastic pandemic, and then people will say, oh God, there's another pandemic coming up. And we were in a double mind to say that, but we got convinced that this is the right time to give an early warning and make sure that we are prepared. COVID-19 did not allow us to prepare. We started suffering and getting prepared at the same time, which was a very brave and adventurous things to do. But that is probably the sentence which is quite underestimates the difficulty that we have gone through. Let me welcome Dia Mirza. She doesn't need any introduction, but there are some parts of that introduction which probably many of you may not be knowing, which I will be telling about her, not only the glamorous side of her personality, but the personality which talks a lot about her commitment, about her dedication, and saying that, yes, we have to do it, that kind of thing. And Afroz Shah, who is known inside the court as well as outside the court more as a sort of an activist, and having won a number of prizes for his active work in a field of various environmental issues, but particularly for the beach cleaning. And I will give you slightly better information as they start speaking. But let me introduce it. We also called the subtitle saying that it's a silent killer. COVID-19 doesn't seem to be a silent. Not only the patient makes noise, but those who take care of the patients are also getting disturbed due to various things. But nobody has really talked about plastic as a pandemic. And probably we'll come to know slowly about it. So our format will be, I will be asking our expert speakers to speak one by one for about 10 minutes. And then I will start taking question and answer. Along with me, there is a staff of TERRE Policy Center, and particularly working on a smart campus cloud network, Atharva, who will be also getting some questions from Facebook. We are not allowed a lot of audience on the Zoom link, but the Facebook is live, and Atharva is ensuring that everything goes well. So welcome again. And I'm starting with Dia Mirza. And as I promised, I will tell her more environmental glamorous side, if I may say so. Apart from the film, her Bollywood life, as well as her name known as a producer and a filmmaker, many of us probably still don't know her commitment towards the social cause and environmental issues. And she was appointed by Secretary General of United Nations as the advocate of sustainable development goals. I don't think any other actress in India or even in Asia has been appointed as an advocate of sustainable development goals, which have to be made by 2030. And we need a dynamic personality like Dia for not only keep on talking, but probably show it with the hands and with the participation and a total engagement into the issue. She is also a goodwill ambassador of United Nations Environment Program. And that is starting from 2017 till she will be the ambassador till 2022. That is a pretty long goodwill ambassador tenure. And that also shows that how United Nations would like her commitment and dedication to be replicated, and how that need to be engaged for very nagging and annoying environmental damages that are taking place. As I said, Dia has worked very extensively for a beach cleaning operation, and we have another Afroz Shah also doing the similar things and to make beach free from single-use plastic. So Dia, I know you have many other accolades for like Environmental Day 2017. You were named as ambassador by Wildlife Trust of India and many others. But we are here mainly to listen to you, and listen to you not as a glamorous talk, but coming to the ground level, because you have the most experience at the ground level to talk about this silent killer and to know whether plastic represents really a problem that can be solved, or even if we keep on talking about it, it will still remain. Dia, floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Rajendra ji, for having me as a part of this panel. It's an important conversation. It's an urgent conversation. And the more such conversations we have, the more ecological literacy we will be able to spread, and environmental consciousness. I disagree with you that the title of this panel is disturbing. I think it's very appropriate because we are in fact facing a plastic pandemic, not because plastic is a harmful material, it's also a life-saving material. Many of the most important things we need and we use in everyday life, like medicines, food, are often packaged in plastic and help us survive. It is our complete disregard and mismanagement of this plastic that has led us to where we are. And it is Eric Solheim who appointed me as United Nations Environment Program Goodwill Ambassador. And our first conversation, Eric, I will never forget, in Nairobi, when I'd come for the Champions of Earth Awards to host them for you, was my urgent plea to the United Nations for us to do something about this spread of plastic in the natural world and how it was causing devastation and destruction of our air, our soils, our water bodies, and was harming and impacting human and environmental health. And you said, coincidentally, that's exactly what we're focusing on this year. And I was so relieved to hear that. And we set upon a very powerful, a very engaging, I think it was a revolutionary campaign that was completely energized by great civil society action on an everyday basis, like that of people like Afroz Shah, who in his own individual capacity, despite the busy schedule of being an active lawyer in Mumbai city, put gloves on, pulled up his gumboots on, and stepped out onto his beach, which was close to his home, and decided to clean it with his own two hands. And then, of course, his community grew, and we all know he's a CNN hero, and many other accolades have followed. But it was really the impact of three things, I think. The way that individuals who are witnessing the tremendous stress and the kind of change and the kind of harm that plastic waste was doing to the natural environment, be it how it was harming our wildlife, our sea life. The scientific reports and studies that indicate that plastics have even been found in mothers amniotic like fluid, like I'm sorry, I'm in a little bit of pain, but in a mother's womb, it's been found in the bloodstream of babies. It is one of the biggest contributors to methane gas because of the kind of the way we just get thrown, the plastic gets thrown in landfills. It's one of the biggest polluters of our soils, and at large, it's just causing unbelievable devastation and destruction to human health. And it was our Beat Plastic Pollution campaign in 2017. That was, I think, a very robust campaign that led to our Prime Minister Narendra Modi declaring that India would become single-use plastics free by 2022. Now we're in 2021, Rajendra ji, and we have experienced and are continuing to experience a global pandemic. And the emergence of plastic, especially single-use plastic, in the form of face masks, so surgical masks, and many other items that are perceived to help protect people, are all made of plastics and are also continuing, they are also being disposed of irresponsibly. So the problem of plastic waste management has only increased, but civil society's awareness and consciousness has improved tremendously. Afroz, I'm sure, will be able to highlight much more about aspects on extended producers' responsibility, how the industry that produces the plastic and the industry that uses plastic as packaging needs to become more responsible, needs to start looking for alternatives that are existing and available, but they haven't started investing in yet. But before we get to that, I think as an individual, because I was personally so disturbed by the knowledge of so many things, there's so much data out there. I'll share one with you. Every minute, one full truck or an entire school bus full of plastic is dumped in our oceans. 90% of the of single-use plastic bottles are not recycled globally, and there are many more such statistics which are startling. And these are not just statistics that affect something in the distant future. It's affecting us now, in this moment. It's affecting our health, and I do believe in the power of individual choice and behavioral change. And the Beat Plastic Pollution campaign really helped us engage with civil society and bring that change. Of course, people forget very fast. So we've continued to do the work that we're doing. We have also found ways to integrate, because it's all connected. When we even talk about Beat air pollution, Beat plastic pollution is very much a part of that, because plastic burning does contribute to air pollution, and millions of people are lost to air pollution each year. So the power of human behavioral change is what I think people like Afrosha and I and Eric represent, where we saw a crisis, we acknowledged it, it made us desperately angry, and we said, what are we going to do about this? How can I fix this problem? How can I change this problem? There are many ways to do it, but I think it first starts with what you do at home and the choices we make every day in the way we live. So when I do workshops with children in school, the only way we can make them change their attitude towards plastic is by making them see plastic. I think we were disturbed because we saw the plastic, right? So I ask them, what is the first item of plastic that you use in the day? And the unanimous answer is our toothbrush. So then I ask them, how long ago did you start using your toothbrush? So the answer is usually typically 1.5 to 2 years of age. So how long do you think you live, and how long do you think you use toothbrushes for? So they say, well, until the point we use dentures, and maybe even if we have dentures, you'll have to use the toothbrush till age 80. So let's assume the average lifespan is 80, okay? And on average per year, people change about 6 to 7 toothbrushes if they're hygienic. Now, I make them multiply their lifespan with the average toothbrush they use annually. And then I make them multiply that number with the strength of the classroom. And then I make them multiply that number with the population of the nation. And the number they arrive at is mind boggling. And then they recognize that this is just one item of plastic they're using in their everyday lives that's going to remain in the environment for 800 to 1,000 years, possibly even longer, as a microplastic. Plastic doesn't go away anywhere. So that then leads to them wanting to make the shift or making better choices. So there's the alternative of the bamboo toothbrush or our good old datun or charcoal. And then, of course, there are the items of single-use plastic, like plastic bags can be replaced by cloth bags or jute bags. Refusing food packaged in plastic, doing composting at home, managing and segregating waste at home is a big contributor to lessening the burden, reducing the burden of waste that our country is dealing with. And as there are so many items of personal hygiene that are packaged in plastic or are made with plastic, like sanitary napkins, for example, regular sanitary napkins, they're made mostly with plastic. There are, there's innovation and alternatives available for completely natural and biodegradable ones. So these are the simple switches one can make. I've made them. And as you make them, you keep discovering more and more things to do better. And in the meanwhile, while we can make these individual choices and bring about behavioral change, we must continue to put pressure on our governments and industries to change their way of working and change the way they do business, because it's impacting all of us and our health, our collective health. Did I speak longer than 10 minutes? I hope not.
Thank you, Dia. What a vivid presentation. I could never imagine that woman of your age, without using PowerPoint presentation, can give the power-packed communication to us. And really the PowerPoints are not needed because they are many times misused. But I think in a short time, with your own personal experience, you very correctly and going in the right direction, you told us that it is not a plastic, but it is we who mismanaged it. I think probably imagine the plastic when it was invented.
Yeah.
I think what must be the joy of that time people. Maybe if you were there at that time, probably with the same kind of power-packed feeling, you would have said that, yes, we have won. But now the things have changed. And we all know what is happening around. It's not only toothbrush, but I think in all over, everything we use, we are facing the problem. And I know you left your presentation, by saying that there is a need to go together, and not only to the schools or kindergartens or those who know the calculations for toothbrush, but probably those who know much more. So I think I came out with the phrase, from beaches to the boardrooms.
Yeah.
I think this is what we need to do, because the beaches can provide some kind of inspiration to the elders, but the boardrooms are where the decisions are being made.
True.
And of course, the policymakers are there. But I think there's a time has come now to shift the strategy from awareness to
action.
Concrete. Yes, action. Action is the word. Thank you very much.